Well, hello again there, folks. It's Joe with your local farmer. And today, we're going to show you our tractors. Why don't you gather the kids up and we'll climb through these suckers and show you what we have here on our farm. Well, I'm going to start here with this trusty old workhorse. This is our 1982 Ford TW10 tractor. It's 110 horsepower at the PTO. We've had it since about 1992. And it's been here a long time. It's done a whole lot of work for us. These are a trusty old tractor. Got a lot of work out of it. It's our heavy tillage tractor, by the way. That's really the only thing that this tractor does on the farm. It'll pull a chisel plow. You can see I've got a disc hooked to it right here. We have a big five chisel ripper that we will pull during the winter time to break up ground. And we also pull a 10-foot wide rotavator with it, or a rototiller, if you will, behind a tractor. And that's a really heavy-duty tiller. It's really the only rotavator we have here on the farm, and it'll be pulled with this tractor right here. Let's jump up in the cab. I'll show you a couple of things that we've, couple of the interesting features in this tractor. So here we are in our TW10. You can see just a pretty simple layout here. Gauges on the dash. Some extra gauges because, well, some in the dash don't work. We could fix the ones in the dash, but it would be really time consuming and expensive. So we just mounted a couple extra up on the dash there. It's got a 8-speed transmission, which is 4 gears. You got 4 gears in this gear shift and then a high-low selector down here. You can shift 1 through 4, and then if you need more gears, you go to the high range, and then those same 4 gears again become 6 through 8. Okay, excuse me, 5 through 8. Down on the floor is a little rocker pedal there. That's a unique feature here. Actually, I shouldn't say that's unique. Almost every tractor company had this. Oh, starting from the 1950s. International was the first one to offer something called a torque amplifier. And once companies found a way around the patent that International had, everybody came up with some other method. What it is it's a shift on the fly mechanism that when you push this pedal backwards like that or forwards, you get an automatic gear reduction. You push it back and you get about a 15% gear reduction instantly. So if you're pulling hard, let's say you're climbing a hill and the power is really starting to wear out or burn out, you just push back on that and automatically you pick up another 15% gear. Like I said, gear reduction. It's easier to climb the hill. You get to the top of the hill, you push it forward again, and you pick up a gear. So even though there's only 8 gears in the transmission, with the shift on the floor, you get 2 gears, or an additional gear. And if you look at the sticker right there, it says dual power. Every tractor company called it something different. And again, it had to do with the patent that International, like I said, International had torque amplifier. Ford had dual power. John Deere came out with a transmission. They called theirs a quad range transmission that had a special shift like that. I'm drawing a blank on what everybody else called theirs. So you can see I've got levers beside me. So I've got a tall lever over here. This controls the 3-point arms in the back. I'll just look back there. Those are the 3-point arms. Those will raise and lower machinery that's hooked directly to the tractor. Okay. And then here we've got 2 levers, 1, 2, and actually got a third right here. These are what we call remote hydraulics. Okay. And what they are is they are tubes. Let me see if I can show you right here. These rubber hoses, and they're hooked right there. They're hooked into the tractor. And so what they are is that way you can power hydraulic implements behind you. And I've actually got 2 couplers for every lever, so 6 couplers in the back. And if you plug hoses into those, you can use these levers to raise and lower machinery back there. Like I said, 1, 2, and 3. This here is a lever for draft control. I've actually got for those of you interested, I've got a blog post that has nothing to do, excuse me. I have a blog post that covers everything about draft control that you may or may not care to know about. So this red lever over here, this is the PTO. PTO stands for power takeoff. And PTO is you really could call it a generic term, meaning that there is a shaft coming out of the back end of the tractor. You can have a shaft coming out of the side of a truck transmission, by the way, and they call it the same thing, PTO. And so what it is it's using the engine rotation to spin, whether it's a shaft or a pump or a motor or, something. It's usually shaft driven, and it's driven off of the engine, okay? And so if we had let's say a brush hog, whether we had our big rotavator uses a big input shaft off of the tractor. And so we'll shove that forward and it'll start the shaft spinning, and we can run the rotavator with that, okay? Let me see, what else should we need to show you here? Oh, the best part, my favorite part, right up here. The radio. It's not a really good radio, by the way. And, oh, there it is, the air conditioner. And it may not sound like much. You may think that, geez, don't you do a lot of farming in, like the early spring when it's not that hot out? Yeah, we do. There's a problem. I see that engine right over there. It's underneath that hood. And right underneath your feet, there's a big transmission. Those suckers create a ton of heat. And so it can be, shoot, I've had it where it's only 50 degrees out, and you're just, the air conditioner isn't running, you're just roasting in this cab, because all the heat just comes right up through the floorboards, and you're surrounded by this glass cockpit all the way around you. And it just becomes stifling hot in here. So, anyhow, this is an old tractor. I think we've got 8,400 hours on it, 8434, and we're definitely looking to replace this sometime soon. But the problem is that these big tractors like this, actually, I say big tractor, this is not a big tractor nowadays. This is only 110 horsepower. Most tractors for farms back in the Midwest are 300, 400 horse now. And all I can say is the replacement value on this tractor, we're looking at definitely over $50,000 or $60,000. And so it's just really hard to justify replacing this tractor right now. So I'm afraid she's going to be around for quite a few more years. So something I want to show you here on the tractor. Of course, there's an awful lot of folks that every time they see a tractor, the first comment they have to make is, holy cow, those are some big tires. Okay? I want to let you know, it says right over here, just look at the sidewall. This says 18.438. So let's break that down real quick here. What that means is that these tires are 18.4 inches side to side, and they're 38 inches from bead to bead. Okay, so that's top to bottom of the bead. Now, you might know a guy that has let's say a Jeep or an off-road vehicle or something, and he says, I've got 38s on my Jeep. No, Jeeps, Jeep tires, if you say you have 38s, that means that they're 38 inches tall overall. These are 38 inches just from bead to bead, okay? So there's just 38 inches of steel in between, that's it. These suckers are actually about 5.5 foot tall. Now, if you think that, wow, those are some big tires, okay? Now, when this tractor was built brand new, 1982, the standard size for big tires was 38s. Okay, so this was standard. We now have 42, 42s, 46s, and 52-inch tires. Our new standard for the big tractors are 52-inch tires. That's 52 inches between the beads. And here's the back end. I want to show you this. Here's the connectors for those hydraulic hoses I was telling you about. And then when we pull things with the hydraulics, they'll hook up to the drawbar right down there. Just a little pin. That steel pin is hardened. You won't break it, trust me. It'll kill the tractor before it breaks the pin. Okay? And then if we hook things up directly to the back of the tractor that need to lift, we've got the 3-point hitch right here. This arm, oh, and that arm right there. We hook them up. It's got a top link. That's why we call it a 3-point hitch. 2 lower arms that provide lift. The top link, all it does is keep it from tipping backwards. So you hook up 2 bottom links, and then when you pick it up, the top link just holds the top upright. Okay. So here's the next tractor we've got. This is a tractor called a Hefty G. It's based on a tractor built by Alice Chalmers. Okay. Alice Chalmers built a tractor called a Model G tractor. And now the Model G tractor was a very handy cultivating tractor. Very similar to this. You see how it's got a, first of all, the engine's in the rear. And it's got this beautiful little mounted frame right in front of the driver. It makes it really easy to cultivate with, because you're looking right down on your cultivator when you're sitting in the driver's seat, okay? Now, the problem was that the Alice Chalmers G tractor was a little thing. It, I don't think it weighed 1,500 pounds, and it was really underpowered, and it really didn't do a lot. So this company came out in the 1970s and made their company called Hefty G. And of course, what they were counting on is that the people would pick up that it is a big version of the Alice Chalmers G. And they're pretty darn rare. You're not going to find a lot of these tractors pretty much anywhere. And in fact, the company was only in business, oh God, maybe for 10 years or so. So finding parts for it has been a real struggle at times. We've had this tractor now for, about 10 years, I think. You can see how it's laid out. Just kind of a really light duty machine. It has one purpose, by the way. Its only purpose is to cultivate. Well, cultivate, and it does a little spraying. We run the sprayer with the cultivator. You can see we got a little spray tank mounted on the back here, okay? And that's it. That's all it does. So let's go down the line. I'll show you a few more tractors. All right, so what I got behind me here is a row of blue Ford tractors. Okay, I take it back. One says New Holland. For those of you who do not know, Ford was bought out by New Holland in the 1990s. I don't remember exactly when. It was kind of a slow takeover. They bought them out, but then there was a transition period where they continued to use the Ford name and kind of transferred into using New Holland instead of Ford. But the thing to notice is that these are all the exact same tractor. Well, sort of. They're all a model 4630. Okay, 4630. See, that one there says 4632, and I'll tell you about that here in a second. Trust me, it's actually a 4630. And then the third one, that's a 4-wheel drive. You see the different tires on the front, but that's also a 4630. Now, we refer to these a little differently, okay, because we have to tell them apart. Just in order to make sure that people are not confused, we've given them different nomenclature, okay, different numbers. 4630, that's self-explanatory. By the way, that's our first one. That's the first one we purchased. 4632, that's a 2-wheel drive 4630. We purchased it, I want to say next, but the reality is actually it's the third one we bought. And then 4634, we call that 4634 because it has the 4-wheel drive, okay? All right, so here's another one of our Ford tractors. And unfortunately, the model number is missing. Not from this side, but both sides. So you just have to take my word for it. This is a Ford Model 4610 tractor. The 4610 was simply the predecessor of the 4630. In fact, the 4630 directly replaced the 4610. So that's the only difference in this tractor and its powertrain. Now, thing to know about this tractor, it is a wide front, okay? But if you look at it, let's go down here and we'll look. We've got this tractor very narrow, okay? This is the only tractor we have on the farm set up to go down between our berry rows. Well, I should say our raspberry rows. This tractor here specifically goes down the narrow rows between the caneberries, okay? So it's a very special tractor for us in the sense that it has a very particular task, and that's its only task, really. So the other tractors will go down, go in multiple different fields for multiple different applications. So very special rig for us. All right, so we've got another beautiful little tractor we've got here. If you can believe this, we never restored this tractor at all. I think it had been restored at one time. But we bought this about 15 years ago. We were looking for a light two-wheel drive tractor to run through our vegetable rows, okay? We're going to use it mainly for spraying, maybe a little fertilizing, things like that. For those of you who don't know, one of the things farmers are always looking to reduce is ground compaction. That's just simply, the action of driving a machine or walking on the ground and packing the dirt tight and solid, okay? Well, one of the problems we run into nowadays is anytime you want an agricultural tractor the size of these Ford 4630s or so, you're talking about a 5,000-6,000 pound tractor, maybe 7,000 pound tractor, okay? This thing here probably weighs 1,700 pounds, maybe 2,000, okay? It's a lot lighter, a whole lot lighter. And so, yeah, it's kind of strange to run a tractor that's I think this is a 1951, if I'm not mistaken. I could be. I think it's about a 1951 Farmall Super C, okay? Super C, wide front. You see, oh, here, how do I got to show you the front end. There it is. Wide front end on it. Beautiful little tractor, runs great for us. We use it all the time. It's never going to wear out. This thing just runs and runs and runs, and it purrs, just purrs like a kitten. And so it's great. Shoot, we may look for another one someday. I don't know. Well, let's keep going here. So here's a little tractor that we use all the time. Our little Kubota B2920, okay? Just so you guys know, this is the only compact tractor we have on our farm. And in fact, it's kind of an oddity, at least in our county, that we bought this tractor without a loader on it. Having sold compact tractors, I've got to tell you, I can count on one hand the number of tractors I sold without a loader. And in fact, the dealership that we bought it from said that we were probably the first tractor in 5 years that they sold without a loader on it. But for us, we don't use it for, moving stuff around, scraping out horse barns or anything like that, which is, what most people would use it for. We use it for doing a lot of mowing, and especially, let me walk down here. I'll show you. We got a nice little 6-foot mower behind it, finish mower, okay? And we use it for a lot of work in our berry rows. It's a little light duty, being a compact tractor, but it fits up and down our berry rows really nicely. By the way, I've got a blog post and potentially another video as well coming about compact tractors and what they are and kind of the definition behind them, where they came from, if you will. So look for that in the future. If I come up with a video of compact tractors, I will go back and link it in the description here on this video. Okay, guys? So look for that in the future. So I got a funny little machine to show you here. I don't know if we even want to call this a tractor. I think we probably should. It's got an operator platform on it. You see way up there, it's got a single front tire and 2 wide-spaced rear tires here. That's a funny look from the front end, I'll tell you that much. So this here is our John Deere sprayer. We don't use it a lot. We use it to spray for corn earworm primarily. It's a early 1960s model, roughly. I think it's got a little 3-cylinder John Deere diesel engine in it. It's a good running little tractor, or sprayer, I guess you might want to call it. I will tell you this, it is crazy to drive. That thing is a wild stallion to drive, mainly because you're sitting up so bloody high with the 3-wheeled steering, okay? It's just, it's a handful, okay? Now you may wonder, you know, there's beautiful John Deere sprayers for sale, or, you know, shoot, everybody makes a big 4-wheeled sprayer. That's awesome. I don't have $250,000 right now, so we'll keep using this guy. Someday, maybe, but I can guarantee you it won't be a $200,000 sprayer, that's for sure. So let's keep going, show you a few more. So here we have a 1949 model UTU Minneapolis Moline tractor. It's got a, if you guys know about engines, it's got a, I believe it's a 286 cubic inch 4-cylinder. I want to say full operating speed is a whopping 1,600 RPMs. Huge pistons in it. Huge radiator up front. It's missing a few things here. You're missing some side curtains on the, you can see the hinges where the side curtain would hang. This tractor here is not going to get run this year for our pumpkin patch. I think we're looking to sell this tractor here. Right behind it, we've got another Model U, Minneapolis Moline. My brother actually just bought this guy. Notice the different grill in the front. Well, I'll tell you what, just look at that grill. You'll see another couple of tractors with a different grill in them, okay? So that tells us, and this little triangular front corner of the hood, that tells us that this is an early model. So I think this is about a 1939 model Minneapolis Moline. Again, Model U, okay? Versus that tractor there. If you notice, that tractor there has 2 cylinders in one head and then 2 cylinders in another head. This one has a solid head. That's another way you can tell. There was a model break in 1948 that they split that cylinder in half. Okay. So we just picked this tractor up here this winter. And I don't think it'll be running for pumpkin patch this year, but hopefully in 2021, we'll have this tractor running. Oh, look at that dash. Isn't that a fancy dash? I wonder where the cup holder is. Or the digital monitor over here on this side. I see a whole bunch of places I can mount it. Wouldn't that be really cool? Put GPS guidance on a tractor like this. Okay, let's keep going, guys. So here's another Minneapolis Moline Model U. Notice the different front nose on it. And the side curtains that go all the way down the side and match up with the fuel tank. By the way, we have a tendency on our farm to name our tractors. It started way back when my grandpa bought 2 tractors that were the same model, and he had to be able to tell them apart. So they called them Frank and Paul. That's because they bought one tractor from a guy named Frank and one tractor from a guy named Paul. And so we have carried on that tradition. This is Jim. This tractor is called Jim. We bought it from a guy named Jim up at Cape Horn, Washington. This has been a great tractor. By the way, there's an old saying about these Minneapolis Moline U's. There's an old saying that goes, not many men have worn out a U, but a U has worn out a lot of good men. And that's the truth. I got to tell you what, these tractors are old, they're kind of beat up, they're worn out, and they'll start every time, and they'll run all day long. Just make sure they got plenty of water and oil, and they will never let you down. If you look over here, there's Al. In fact, this is a famous tractor around in these parts. This tractor, we didn't know for the first couple years, it belonged to a guy named Al Gurman here in Clark County. And an awful lot of folks that have come by and go, I remember that tractor when I was a kid. The Gurmans used to go out there. The Gurmans had a dairy. And they said, I remember that. Propane. By the way, notice the propane tank. So this has been converted, by the way. But it was a propane model Minneapolis Moline U. Okay. Again, narrow front. So this is a 1948, by the way. You notice the split heads. Okay. So one of the problems with this tractor was that the company that made all of the propane equipment, a whole bunch of propane equipment that hung on this side, including a different carburetor for propane, and that company went out of business in like, I think about 1970. So when we got this tractor, it was there was a question of, do we restore it as a propane tractor? And really quick we figured out, you know what, unless we're going to put hundreds and hundreds of dollars into this thing, let's just put a filler in the top of the gas tank, or the tank, run a pipe down, and just turn it into a gasoline tractor, which is what we did. So this is a tractor that's been on the farm now for well over 20 years. And like I said, it's it's definitely worn us out, I'll tell you that much. We've gotten a lot of use out of it. And we love these old tractors. These tractors are great. They bring a lot of history to the farm. Now, the thing that I'll tell you, if you don't mind, being a pumpkin patch, we get a lot of people here. And there's a handful of people that will come up and they'll look at the tractor and they'll just go, oh, my grandpa had a tractor just like that, you know. But then there's the other 80% that just roll through the pumpkin patch, and they really couldn't tell you if this tractor was 10 years old or 100 years old. They you know, and God bless them. I don't want to make it sound like, you know, that they're uncaring or anything, but really they don't know, they don't care. They just want to come to a farm and see a tractor. So, all right, let's keep on going, guys. So here's another special tractor. This is a Co-op E3 tractor. It belongs to my brother, by the way. It's got a beautiful little 4-cylinder gas engine in it. Oh, he's missing a hood louver there. We rebuilt this engine here a while back. It runs really nice, this little tractor does. One of the things that's special about this tractor, if you remember me talking about that my grandpa bought 2 different tractors that were the same model number, and we called them Frank and Paul. Well, this is the model of tractor he bought. We had 2 of them. One had a wide front, one had a narrow front, okay? Wide front, of course, I'm talking about, you know, had tires that were spaced apart on a bar axle. This one is a narrow front. You can see 2 tires pushed together in the front, okay? It's got a little 4-cylinder engine made by a company called Kubota. They're a really smooth running little engine. By the way, I've had people ask me before, and I thought I'd throw this out there. How come all of these tractors with a narrow front end, why were the wheels always angled together in the front? Now, I don't pretend to know all of the answers, but what I've heard is they were really only done that way to keep them, or to make them closer together. Because if they had them just straight up and down, they'd be further apart at the ground level. So they tilted them together just to get them to come together closer at the bottom. Now, if you look here, well, it's kind of a tractor. You can look here, here's a hood. There's an input shaft for a transmission right there. There's a transmission. There's a rear axle. Oh, look, we gotta have a full tire on that side. So this here is a Minneapolis Moline Model Z. My brother picked this up a couple years back, and we have problems, or we're going to have problems, having the engine machined to accept larger pistons for a rebore. So here it sits. Actually, here's the engine block right here. There's the engine crank. I think most all the parts are right in here. Here's a camshaft. See, camshaft. Fenders. So anyhow, Minneapolis Moline Model Z will get put back together sometime. Don't really know when. Unfortunately, it's just really fallen to, really low on the priority list. I don't know about where you work, but for us, priority is, well, it's our key term we use the most around here. What is priority? And although this is something really cool we'd really love to work on, it's just not a priority right now, and it has to just kind of sit. So, all right, let's see if we can find another tractor to take a peek at. All right, I'm going to have to hurry for this video because I walked into this pen, and next thing you know, I was surrounded by 30 goats. And, oh, here they come. Here's Fawn. Hello, Fawn. So if you look here, we've got two little tractors, and if you've come to our pumpkin patch before, you've seen these little guys. These are really just yard ornaments that we have. Hello, Lorenzo. You guys want to say hi to Lorenzo the llama? Get it? Lorenzo Llamas. Okay. Ha ha. And that's Jasper, by the way. He's out there with the tractors. But we have these two tractors out here as just play places for the kids. Okay. And so one is a Cockshut Model 30. Oh, there's Lorenzo. The other one is a Farmall Model H. They're both about a 1950 model, and both of them are seized solid. There's no use trying to fix them. They're pretty much shot. They're no use to us, but boy, do the kids get a kick out of them. You can see how we've got the Cockshut there buried in the ground. We're going to do that to the Model H Farmall here when we get a chance. And really, all you have to do is we'll take the front tire off probably on the Farmall, and then you just dig two holes and just set the rear end down. Makes it really neat because it lowers it down. The kids can simply just walk on. Here, let me find my finger. Just walk onto the rear platform and back off again. You can see that one there. It's at ground level. So the kids have no problem getting on and off. That way nobody's tripping and falling and breaking an ankle. Yes, hi Lorenzo. And yeah, so no intention of fixing these tractors. But let me tell you what. They get an awful lot of seat time every October, I'll tell you that much. All right, folks, we're going to finish up with a very special tractor for us. And that is our 1947 Minneapolis Moline Model R. Okay. Just a little clarification, by the way. We are only partners in this tractor. This tractor is actually owned by 4 individuals, or 4 groups of individuals, I should say. That is my dad, his sister, Mary, my Uncle Don, and my Uncle Ray's family after my uncle passed this last winter. And the reason why is this tractor is the very tractor that my family bought in 1947, right at the end of World War II. Now, we sold the tractor in, somewhere about 1960, 1965 even. I really don't know when. We sold the tractor and it went away. And a number of years ago, my dad was driving around town and saw the nose of a Minneapolis Moline R sticking out of a local person's shed, let's put it that way. And he stopped in one day and he says, "Hey, I noticed you have an R. We used to have a Model R tractor too, and we'd love to get another one just to remember what it was like to have that old tractor." Well, the guy said, "Hey, I really don't have any attraction to it other than the fact that it's, it's just an old tractor." And so a couple days later, my dad brought my aunt over to see it. She just, she really just kind of wanted to see it, wanted to reminisce about those tractors. And she started noticing, well, hey, it's got a handful of items on it that our tractor used to have. And so she did a little checking and a few more checks and a few more checks, and lo and behold, it was my grandpa's tractor. So the family went in, they bought the tractor back, and we got it running. It does run. We really don't use it much. It's a little undersized, underpowered for what we would ever use it for or want to use it for. But boy, is it neat to know that we've got it back in the family. So this is, I told you about my grandpa's propensity to give tractors names. Well, my grandpa's name was Arbra, but his friends in school called him Ping. So this tractor, this is Ping. So I hope you guys enjoyed our little video series we did today, our little video. Here, take a look at the back end. This is a neat little tractor. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed our video today. If you like it, please hit the like button down below. If you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button as well. It really helps me out. And if you have an idea for a video in the future, please let me know. And please also check out my blog, yourlocalfarmer.com. That's URLOCALFARMER.com. Well, thanks for sharing your day with me today, guys. I hope to have a whole lot more fun afternoons like this. And hopefully we'll see you in the future. Have a great day.